back and get ready to have the most fun you ever had with an electronic device. All right, everybody, welcome out to the Get On With It Sports Show. It is Sunday. I think it's April 3rd, 2022. Jersey Johnny coming at you. Something like that. With me, as always, on these special Mets Corner podcast is Mr. Radio Pete. How are you today?
Hi, everybody. I'm good.
That is awesome.
It's Sunday.
It is Sunday.
That's a good reason. Duke lost.
Duke did
lose.
lose.
It's a good day for that.
There you go. You're
and
happy about that.
And the Grammys are on.
Yeah.
So let's three reasons to be happy.
3 reasons to be happy on this Sunday, April the 3rd. And there's another reason to be happy, too. 4 days from now, baseball returns for another regular season. Should have actually started last week, obviously, but luckily we only missed 1 week with the bullshit with the lockout, right?
Yeah, well, it should have actually started 2 days ago.
Right. Well, this past week, but yeah,
opening day should be April 1st.
Right. Well, actually, this year would have been March 31st. It would have been.
I know.
Right.
But it should be.
Should be April.
Always 1st. April 1st.
Right. Even if April 1st is a Tuesday.
Don't care.
That's
opening day should be April 1st.
Mm-hmm.
Even and whatever. Were they going to open in another country? Was that what was going to go on before?
Yeah, didn't they do that the year the Mets went to the World Series and lost to the Yankees in 2000?
They've done it a couple times, I think.
They opened in Japan. Yeah. I remember Benny Agbayani's home run in that.
Yeah, like the Mets and the Cubs, I think it was, right?
I believe so. Yeah.
Went to Japan for a couple days. Yeah, that's just enough already.
Right.
Enough, but whatever. I don't know. The people that get paid to figure these things out think that it's going to have some sort of impact or whatever.
Exactly. It's like, but
it
you know what?
It should be April 1st. Just April 1st.
April 1st.
April 1st.
Done. April 1st.
Simple. It's simple.
Easy peasy. So
anyway,
but in any event, it's
Sunday. In 4 days instead.
That's 4 days. April. It's going to be April 7th this year. So be it. It's fine. We're getting 162 games, so they're going to obviously have a couple extra doubleheaders, and hopefully, they will stick to their guns and they won't be 7-inning doubleheaders. They will be actual doubleheaders.
No, I think they said no more 7 innings.
No more 7 innings. It was just.
So they're keeping the guy starts on second in extra innings, but not for the 10th and the 11th. Is that
not
what
for
it
the 10th and 11th? I believe it starts in the 12th inning. If they are still tied after 2 extra innings, then they put that ghost runner on.
And then they start doing that. Okay. Yeah. And I think everything else is more or less the way it should be, right?
Yeah, everything's kind of
There's
back.
No more 7-inning doubleheaders.
Right. No more. Well, I mean, there's a couple things coming next year. You got the pitch clock. They're going to have a pitch clock, much like a shot clock in basketball. They're going to have a pitch clock in baseball. Now, I don't know. Does that mean if the pitcher? Here's my thing. What is the actual penalty if the pitcher goes over the pitch clock timing right before he throws the ball? Does that mean that the batter gets to hit off a tee? For that,
ooh, maybe one swing,
or throw the ball up in the air and himself.
Well, there's already kind of a pitch clock, right? I mean, umpires can warn pitchers.
Yeah. If he's taking too long, you get a warning. Let's go, throw the ball.
So it would be a warning, and then I would guess it would be a ball, right?
A ball, a balk. I don't know. It's got to be something. It's got to be one of those, right?
Yeah, but the
batter's either got to be water with a ball, or if there's a runner on first, a balk,
or maybe first. Like I wouldn't want to see a ball 4 given because of delay,
right?
But if you could go up to ball 3 and then maybe go and just start balking, at least until the guy was at third,
right?
You know what I mean? Like you can't, you shouldn't be able to end an at bat.
Because the pitcher took too long to throw the ball.
Because the pitcher took 1 second too long to throw the ball.
Right.
And you shouldn't be able to score a run.
Sure.
But up to that point, and then, I don't know, maybe after that.
Up to ball 3 and a balk up to third base.
Up to third base. And if he keeps doing it, I guess you just throw him out of the game.
Right. Then he's out. You get a second warning after that, and then that's it. You're out.
I mean,
I would
think that would stop. Like, I don't know what the... Unless you're trying to get a rain out.
Right.
it's raining and you're trying to slow, what would be the reasons you would want to slow the pace down, right? If you're trying to get a rain out, maybe you're getting your ass kicked and it's before it's an official game and you want the ump to call it, right? That, I mean, what other reason would you want to?
Well, there's a lot of pitchers out there that, I mean, the quick pitch has been used a lot lately. I mean, when I say a lot, I don't mean like everybody's doing it. I just mean a lot more than it ever was before. They've been, there's a, they're using the quick pitch. But, I mean, that's not at every bat. That's not every pitch either. But, yeah, I mean,
what would be the reason to purposefully slow the game down? And there's just,
there really shouldn't be
I don't think there's a lot of guys that are coming up now who, there are certain pitchers who just take a long time, and certainly knowing that this is coming now, anybody who's coming up through the ranks is going to be urged, I would think, right from at least high school on, not to dilly-dally on the mound. So
it says, hold on here, I just pulled it up. Let me just read this here. It's a 14-second pitch clock with empty bases and a 19-second pitch clock with runners on. So if the bases are empty, you got 14 seconds to throw each ball. If there's runners on any base, 19 seconds.
Now that's from when the batter steps in, right?
That's from when the batter steps in, right? So Major League Baseball wants to institute a 14-second pitch clock with bases empty and a 19-second timer with runners on, according to sources familiar with the situation. The two numbers were settled on. Blah, 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 and we're cut by almost 20 minutes, 15, and it was 15 and 17 seconds, so they went in opposite ways. The desire comes to years increasing game times, and we all know that Rob Manfred, he wants to, he feels that if he cuts the game,
he wants a 2-hour game.
He wants a 2-hour game because he wants to entice younger viewers to come back and watch the game. And I have news for this man, and I've said this for many years now. If the kids aren't watching the game because it's 3 hours long, they're not going to watch it because it's 2 hours long. They're not watching because of the time. They're watching because of the game. They're watching because of the other things they're doing. That's what they'd rather do. And they're not going to say, okay, you know what, I'm going to stop playing World of Warcraft because MLB is now 2 hours long, so I'll go watch that. It's not going to happen.
Yeah, I'll let you in on a little secret that probably everyone, at least subconsciously, knows. This has nothing to do with bringing in a younger audience. If you can have a legitimately 2-hour or close to 2-hour game, then how many games can you fit in on a weekend day? Reasonably. You could probably fit 4 games
in on one channel on a weekend
in one day that everyone in the country could watch. There would be no overlap. You could go 1 to 3, 3 to 5, 5 to 7, and 7 to 9. Now that's our Eastern time. Right. So, but that's, or when do they start the World Series games? 8:30 at night now.
Right.
So when you get into the playoffs, you got those West Coast games.
Right.
They're starting at 9 o'clock. Let's say our time. You can have a whole Saturday and a whole Sunday of baseball. You know what I mean?
And if that
you could speed up,
right,
or at least sort of almost regiment the playoffs, because how many series do you have at any one time?
This is true.
No more than 4.
That would only work for national games where you want to fit in more markets.
Well, that's what I'm saying. When you get to the playoffs,
right, and
I want
or
the
even during the regular season.
You could,
right.
You could, but you'd have to kind of,
right.
You'd have to work east to west, right? You're not going to put
the
Dodgers and the Giants on at 1 o'clock Eastern time,
right?
But I think
playing
it's
at 10 o'clock in the morning. Yeah,
I think it's designed for the playoffs.
It's got to be, because here's the thing: it's not going to really matter at local market, right? Because local market, they want the games longer in the local market, because when the game's over, they have nothing else to put on. They're not going to put on an out of market game. And if the game's going 3 hours and 15 minutes, they're getting the advertising for that game in that time. And they're keeping the viewer on watching that game for those 3 hours, 3.5 hours.
Right.
If it's 2 hours, they're losing out. So all the local markets are going to lose out because of this.
Yeah, but Major League Baseball doesn't give a shit about that.
Right. They care about the ESPN games.
They
care about the games that are on MLB Network.
Just think about it.
That's it.
You could put one game from 4 different playoff series, or at least 3, on the same day.
Mm-hmm.
You could literally do all 4. Right? How many is in the first round? Aren't there 4 series in the first round? Or you got them? You could literally put game 1 of all of those on the same day.
Mm-hmm.
And then game 2 on Sunday, if you wanted to do it that way.
Sure.
Now, you probably wouldn't do it during the week. But again, you
right?
avoid...
Yeah, you probably you're not going to do playoffs.
You're
not going to do playoffs during the day during the week anyway. It's got to be on the weekend.
Right.
Yeah. So.
But on those weekends, you could make every game available to everybody. Get 2 games in. Shorten the playoff time, which is one thing that everybody complains about, right?
Right.
It's starting to get like basketball. It takes a month and a half to play right? And the season ending in October, right? And we don't see World Series games till after Halloween.
Right. Yeah. The World Series is over. At the end of the first week in November. Yeah. So.
Right. So you could probably back all of that up by a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks.
Sure.
And everybody would have the opportunity to see every game. There wouldn't be any, again, a game goes long. Yes, you might have some overlap, but you kind of have that now anyway.
Now, here's my question to that. Does everybody want to see every game? Because the people that want to watch every game do. They have MLB Network. They have the MLB package with their cable or satellite provider or whatever. And they do, whether they DVR some of them, whether they flip back and forth, whatever they do, they have the ability to do that now without just being able to sit at one TV and watch game after game after game after game. They can do it at their leisure. They can do it. They can flip back and forth. They can watch it later. They can, whatever they want to do, they can do it. They have the ability to do that now. So if it's just for the fact that during the playoffs, somebody can sit on one channel and watch game after game, and they're doing this for all of baseball during the entire regular season, that's a little asinine, I think. But I get the point.
Yeah, no, I don't think it's necessary. I don't think it's necessarily intended for. I mean, yes, making games shorter, they believe is better.
Mm-hmm.
Their reasoning is to bring in the younger audience.
Well, that's what they say.
Right, that's what he says. I don't.
Right.
But I think this is designed because you're right. If you want to watch every game, you can. But having shorter games and being able to show more of them on the same day will open that up to a larger audience.
Right. Well, I got you.
Maybe it brings more people, right? Maybe it brings more
Maybe that brings more people to the plate. No pun intended.
Yeah, no pun intended. Or think about it. If you could pick and choose the games you want to watch. Right? If you've got 4 games on one day, well, I want to watch the first game. I don't really care about the second game, but I want to watch the third one. Well, so I watched the first game. Now I have 2 hours. And all I can do whatever I want for 2 hours. I can, on Long Island, we still cut our grass in October. So I could mow my lawn. I could go to the grocery store and stock up for then 2 hours later, I get to watch game 3. And then maybe it's nighttime. And well, I don't really feel like doing anything. It's Sunday, right? It's Sunday at 8 or 9 o'clock at night. So I'll just watch game 4.
Right.
I think, and they're boom, 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 boom. So I think what they're thinking might be is you'll get people who will stay, even for games that they're maybe not that interested in. Or they may just put it on in the background because it's on, because they don't have to clear that time the next day, or I got to make time on Tuesday and then I got to make time on Wednesday, and then we're going to get back on, then maybe Thursday's a day off, and then on Friday I got to make time, and then there's a couple games on Saturday. You know what I mean?
Right. No, I follow.
Because I can watch. All I got to do is watch Saturday and Sunday. I can see the first 2 games,
and
then I can pick and choose the ones during the week that I want to watch.
Sure.
Like if you want to watch all those games, it's a big time commitment.
It is a huge time
commitment.
You
can shave that down on the weekends. I don't know. I might be wrong.
No, I mean, you make a lot of sense. And also, here's another reason, too. When you think about it, more and more, and this doesn't just go for baseball. This goes for football, mainly baseball next, and then pretty much every sport at that point. Years ago, you watched your local market. You watched your team. And that's it. You didn't care about any other team. You cared about your team, and that was it. Now,
you didn't have access to it.
You didn't have access to it, but you didn't care either. Now with fantasy, for football and baseball, obviously, and other sports, and betting, certainly you're not just betting on your team. You could bet on others and so forth and so on. Being legal, gambling being legal now with all the apps and DraftKings and so forth and so on.
Yep.
You can watch the games. You want to watch the games. You're not just a fan. Not that you're necessarily a fan of multiple teams. Some people are, but you're interested.
Yeah,
you're a fan of one team, but you have the interest in a lot of other teams too, because of fantasy, because of access and so forth and so on, and the betting and everything else. So that might be factoring in as well.
Yeah. And if your team stinks and isn't in it when playoff time comes around,
you have a fallback team. You have it's playoffs. I got my team that I root for in the playoffs. So, yeah.
Right, I like these guys in the National League and I like these guys in the American League, so I'm going to watch them. Well, now that's two series that I'm definitely going to watch.
Kind of like you do for football in January. You don't watch the Jets anymore, obviously, because you can't. So you watch the Dallas Cowboys.
Right.
And
exactly. I will.
Not that you don't watch the Cowboys during the year
I'm
either.
just as likely to watch a Cowboys game as I am during a Jets game,
mm-hmm.
or watch a Jets game during the regular season. Assuming if they're on at the same time, I'll watch the Jets or I'll flip back and forth. But
sure,
it's not like don't look at the Cowboys until the Jets are out of it.
Right. Well, I'm the same way.
That could be like week 7.
Right.
Some years.
Right. Exactly.
Crap! It's October. I don't need to watch the Jets anymore. But,
I'm the same way with the Packers when the Giants aren't doing good. So
exactly.
I get it. But
so I don't. Listen, there's whatever they want to speed up the game.
Yep.
And there must probably. I mean, I would imagine there's some research somewhere that shows younger people like shorter things. So, i.e., they will shorter baseball games.
Sounds like a problem to me, but whatever.
Yeah, I don't know.
Or a good thing, one or the other, depending on how you look at it.
3 licks to get to the center of
the Tootsie Pop.
Right? That was what started it all. What else can we make less?
Less?
Because apparently young people like it.
It's all about instant gratification.
That's right.
They don't want to. They don't want to commit to 3.5 hours to get to the finish of the game and see the outcome.
Yeah.
I'm only going to put 2 in. I'm only put 2 in. In fact, I want to turn it on and 15 minutes later know what can't it be like a sitcom, a half an hour game and that's it,
Listen, are you telling me
they can play multiple games. They could play 3 games a day. They could play 3-inning games. So they're all an hour long.
Have you never watched a sporting event and found yourself looking at your phone, not to post something on Twitter or whatever, just like, this is kind of boring. Let me see what Karen videos pop up on my feed.
Right.
Right. And then you kind of spend maybe half an hour,
right,
sort of eyeing your phone and watching the game or whatever. I do that all the time.
You know what I like to do when the game's boring and it's more white noise in the background than anything else because it's so boring the commentators aren't even talking and you just have the echoing in the background and a couple of pitches and so forth and so on. You know what I like to do, right? Throw my feet up on the couch and doze off for 20 minutes.
Yeah,
with that, that's what I like to do. So
yeah, I'm out. If I do that, I'm out for hours.
Right. Well, no. Well, I mean,
I miss the end of the game. I miss the end of the movie. I miss the end of whatever show.
I tune my ears in, even if I'm like in that half asleep, REM cycle kind of thing. If something exciting happens, then and the TV automatically gets a little louder. Yeah. I'm up. What happened? And if it's gone, I just rewind live TV, right? That's boom. You can just.
I'm out. If I'm out, I'm out.
You're out. Once you're done, you're done.
What was I watching last night?
You still partying for your birthday?
No.
Happy birthday, by the way.
Thank you very much.
I didn't say it on the air, obviously, yet, so we'll say it now. Happy birthday.
Thank you. Yeah, we went out
April Fool's baby right here. There you go.
Yeah, it was Friday, so and we just had the family dinner, and then yesterday went out with the extended family for lunch. Went to a Cuban place. It was pretty good.
Nice.
Yeah,
cool.
Very good. Place we'd wanted to go for a while. So we had
plantains?
a nice lunch. Had some fried plantains. I had the Cuban sandwich.
Nice. Oh, that's perfect. That's my meal right there when I get the one to go.
Yeah, there was some grouper and some flounder. We had the little fried flounder cakes.
Mm-hmm.
Had a bunch of, little appetizers and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So it's good. And so then it was, I don't know, I guess it was getting late because of the basketball.
Mm-hmm.
Watching the basketball. And then
I had to watch that. So.
Yeah, I forget what else I was watching. So I think it was about 11:30, I remember seeing. And we have a clock that's sort of like over there, but it's broken now. So it runs, but it doesn't run accurately.
Right.
So I think it's fast. So like every 3 days, I'll look over and then I'll look at my phone and I'll go, oh, it's got the right time. You know,
every so often it's correct.
And then 6 hours later, it's 4 hours fast or whatever. So it was about 11:30, and then it was 2:15 in the morning, and I woke up like this. And I was sitting on the couch, and I think the streamer box had gone into sleep mode.
Right. Yeah.
Because I record a lot of stuff,
Uh-huh.
and whatever I was watching had ended, and so then half an hour or 45 minutes later, it goes into sleep mode. So the screen was black, and it's like no connection, and everyone else is upstairs. The whole house is pitch black, and I'm.
There you go.
And I wake up, and I look at my watch, and it's like 2:15 or 2:38 or something.
Well, they get there a really boring game. I can get that way,
Yeah,
so.
I guess I'll go to bed now. So once I'm out, I am
out. You're done,
and no one wakes me up.
Sure.
Because my son's behind me in the other room playing video games with his friends,
Sure.
and it's Saturday night, so he's going to be up probably till 2 or almost 2. My wife, she's usually up past midnight, but then they go up, shut all the lights off. No one bothers to wake me up.
Just leave it right there. Yeah.
We're shutting the house down. Why don't you come upstairs, idiot? Nah. But I got a good, good solid 3 hours of sleep in.
There you go. That was good. You woke up nice and refreshed, and
I woke up nice and refreshed. Time to go upstairs and go back.
Go to bed. Right? Gotta love it.
Oh well.
Anyway. All right. Yeah. So the pitch clock.
Yeah. You thought we were going to talk about the Mets, didn't you?
No. Tangent City right here.
Yeah. I think I got a text from you that said, or maybe you just said it live in person before we came on. Yeah, we'll do a good half hour, 45 minutes. I went, yeah, right.
Yeah, okay. So, we're not there yet, so we could just end and be correct, right?
That's true.
Just call it. All right, have a good night.
True.
That was a good Mets podcast. There you
go. Here's the thing about the Mets pitching staff. 42 minutes. We're out.
Sorry, we're good.
Tune in for our end of year wrap, and we'll finish these thoughts.
Yep.
All right. So the pitch clock and something else.
The pitch clock, yeah. And bigger bases. They're 3 inches bigger or something like that.
But that's next
year. From 9 to, that's next year.
Right.
So we'll talk more about. We got a year to talk about that. So.
All right.
Couple things. The Mets were all in. Well, not all in. They were investigating a trade. I don't know if you saw this. Most of the day yesterday, actually, between them and the Padres. They were going to take Eric Hosmer, Chris Paddock, and somebody else for Tom Smith.
Really?
Yep. So they got another. They would have got another starting pitcher. They would have gotten Eric Hosmer. I don't know what the hell they're going to do with him because
we're going to put him on first base also.
We're going to see stand next to Pete Alonso. The
DH him or Alonso. Like Alonso always becomes the DH when there's too many guys at first, right?
Right. Yeah, he would have. He would be the there. But then again, Eric Hosmer is what 135 years old this year.
Yeah, he's a little bit older.
So, but I think
might be a better first baseman than Alonso's not terrible.
No, Alonso's pretty good. He's gotten a lot better than he was.
Yeah, I think I still have it stuck in my head that he's not a good first baseman, but he's better than Dom Smith.
Yeah, Dom Smith's got a good glove.
Does he?
Yeah. But
okay. Yeah,
he's still, Pete Alonso's still the better package at first base of the two.
He's not consistent enough at the plate,
right?
Tom Smith,
right,
to play every day. Yeah.
When he's on at the plate, he's phenomenal. But
right,
streaky. As everybody is really when you come right down to it. But
wait till I don't know if you've looked at. Anyway, I got all the rankings from last year's.
Yeah, we'll get to the
pitching
rankings,
and offense, and there's a lot of. Rankings that are in the 20s.
Right. But then there was talk that the Mets were going to take Eric Hosmer and trade him to the Cubs and get Stroman back.
Because the pitching staff is already starting to fall apart.
It's already starting to fall apart and even start the damn season yet.
Yeah.
So anyway.
Remember last week when I said, how do they blow it? How do they not do it? Well, we're seeing it.
We're seeing it before we started.
The best pitcher in baseball, and he's out for 2 months at least.
Right.
And, our 37-year-old, probably you have to say one of the best pitchers ever, right?
Right.
I mean, he's got to be in top of whatever list. Sure. It's a nut job, right? 3 Cy Youngs,
sure.
right?
Yeah.
And hammy issue, which he's had before, but it goes away in a couple days.
Yeah, it's a tweak. He might miss a start. He might not.
Yeah,
he might not.
But he's also 37,
right?
And maybe this is the year that the tweak ends up being something more.
Well, let's hope it's not. Let's hope it's not.
This is how the Mets.
But here's another thing.
This is how the Mets mess it up.
Right. We're in our 50s, right? And we talk about these guys that are 37 like they're older than us.
Right. Yeah.
But I mean,
but in baseball,
he's 37 in baseball years. I get it, but he's only 37 years old. He shouldn't be that falling apart. He should be, if anything, he should be in better condition than most 37-year-olds.
Yeah, but he's also put how many miles on that arm, right? This isn't a guy.
Well, I'm more worried about his arm than his hammy. That's what I'm talking about.
Right. But I mean, this is not a guy who pitched 150 innings every year for 10 years, and he's this guy's innings eater, and
right.
We're hoping this is not the year that it catches up with him, right?
Well, we shall see, and we'll see very soon. But I don't know. One thing happened today, but anyway, to finish that up, that trade's null and void.
They're
not. It's not happening. They put the nix on it. They put the kibosh on it. They're done with that.
They just really don't like Stroman.
Do you blame him? I mean, he's.
So he talks a lot.
He's
of
the
shit.
OBJ of the MLB.
Yeah, yeah, that's true.
But
well, that's fine. We got they got the kid they signed off waivers from the Marlins, was it?
Yeah. Well,
although I don't think he's going to be a star. Actually, they sent him to AAA right away. So one something, I don't remember. Anyway,
did you see the trade today?
Juan Lopez. Between the Yankees.
Yeah. How often does that happen?
I don't know. There was actually a list. So it's Joely Rodriguez
for Miguel Castro. So a right-handed reliever for a left-handed reliever.
Yeah. So now the Mets have one left-handed
reliever.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Well,
Miguel Castro ate some innings last year too. I was shocked about that, but they wanted a lefty. They wanted another arm in the.
Let's see. All right, so
here's a left-handed arm in the bullpen. So
here's a list of some Mets-Yankees trades. Mm-hmm. So you have the one today. Mm-hmm. You have 2018 Kendall Coleman for L.J. Mazzilli. That's how it's listed here.
No relation.
No,
not at all.
2014 Gonzalez German. Mm-hmm. Or Herman, purchased by the Yankees from the Mets. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you remember that one. I didn't. And probably the best one for the Yankees anyway, Mike Stanton for Felix Heredia. Mm-hmm. That was in 2004. We know about Heredia's illustrious career with the Mets.
Mike Stanton,
who won, I think, 3 rings with the Yankees.
3 rings with him. Right?
Yeah. 2003 Yankees trade Ryan Bicondua, Jason Anderson, and Anderson Garcia for who? Your favorite closer ever?
I didn't. I missed your first part of that. I didn't even hear the year.
Yankees trade Ryan Bicondua, Jason Anderson, and Anderson Garcia to the Mets for.
What year was it?
2003. The best closer the Mets ever had.
Oh, Billy Wagner.
Nope.
Billy Wagner came from Houston. Oh, you're saying sarcastic.
The most hated closer the Mets ever had.
The most hated closer the Mets ever had? Most hated closer the Mets ever had was for me, the most hated closer the Mets ever had was Armando Benitez.
Okay, that's the guy.
Well, yeah. but the Mets, did he came back to the Mets then because he was on the Mets before that?
Yeah.
2003.
Yeah.
Oh, the Yankees took Armando Benitez.
The Yankees, right?
Oh, okay. I'm going back and forth. I'm like, who? Wait a minute. Okay.
Oh no. Sorry.
Okay. Yeah, I had it reversed. Okay. I'm like,
Yankees
wait a minute.
Traded 3 guys for him
to get Armando Benitez.
Yep.
But why did they want Armando Benitez? I mean, he basically gave them game 1 of the series. Did he not?
3 weeks later, they flipped him and sent him to the Mariners for Jeff Nelson.
That's why. So they wanted Jeff Nielsen.
Yeah. So Benitez, let's see, 18-14 with a 2.70 ERA and 347 innings for the Mets. He went to the Yankees, pitched 9 1/3, and allowed 4 runs, and in 3 weeks, and then they sent him to the Mariners for Jeff Nelson.
Yeah, I had that backwards.
Now, as for the guys,
I had the Mets getting from the Yankees.
Right, yeah, I didn't say it correctly.
So,
well, I think I did, but
I heard it. Well, I was reading when you first said it. That's what the problem was.
Oh, okay. As for the guys the Mets got, Baikondua never got to the majors.
No, he never.
Anderson, 6 runs in 10 2/3 innings. Following the deal, Garcia played 1 game in the majors with the Phillies in 2007. Mm-hmm. Kicked around the minor league system for a while. So they got nothing.
They got nothing from him. Well, it was a way to get rid of Benitez, right?
Yep. 2001, David Justice from the Yankees to the Mets, Robin Ventura.
Mm-hmm.
And 1993, Kenny Greer for Frank Tanana.
We actually talked about that Ventura trade.
That's about all the ones I care about.
We actually talked about the Ventura trade 21 years ago on the podcast.
Did we?
On the show, yeah. That was right smack dab in the middle of that.
All right. Yeah, I mean, there's a bunch of others. Let's see. This list goes back to 1966. So 1, 2, 3, a bunch. I'd say somewhere between 10 and 15.
So the average is like 1 every 5 years or so.
So let's see, 93, 92, 89, 87, 83, 80, 77, 72, 67, 66.
So every 4 years maybe is the average.
Yeah.
So,
well, from 66 to today is how many years?
From 66 to today would
34
be
34 and then another 20.
54 years.
54 years.
56 years. 56 years.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 in 54 years. So every 5 years or so. Average.
There you go.
So it has that. I don't think I would have thought it was that much.
I wouldn't have thought it was that much. I would have thought there were maybe 5 of all time, So
Actually, it's probably a couple more. I think there's a couple more than that.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's plenty of Mets that were former Yankees and vice versa, but they were never trades. They were free agents, and they picked them up, So, but
yeah, it's a little. There's a few extra than that, but
yeah,
that list is oddly laid out. It's annoying to go through.
It's
instead of just listing them, they have the trade and then they have the blurb about it.
It's just a weird spreadsheet kind of format.
Do a lot of scrolling and
screw that.
Yeah.
So anyway, Castro appeared in 69 games for the Mets in 2021, pitching to a 3.45 ERA. All right. He struck out 77 batters in 70.1 innings. All right. And he's 27. Joely Rodriguez is 30. He appeared in 52 games as opposed to 69. Had a 4.66 ERA. And he struck out 47 batters instead of 77. In 46.1 innings pitched. So, there you go.
So the Rodriguez ERA was a bit high.
He went 1-0 with a 2.84 ERA in 21 games with the Yankees last year. After he was, that was with both. That was the whole year. Joely Rodriguez. He had a 2.84 ERA with the Yankees in 21 games. So 21 of his 47 games or 52 games. After he came from Texas as part of the Joey Gallo trade.
Okay.
So just the Yankees last year, 21 games, 2.84 ERA. So, I mean, so better in New York, if you want to call it that.
Right. Well, and the other stat blurb I saw was a 559 ops against lefties, which is pretty good. So I think that's why they got him.
Right. Yeah, well, we'll see. I mean, he's look. I don't know. I mean, Castro ate a lot of innings. Granted, his ERA wasn't off the charts; it was 3.5, but still better than 4.5 or 5.5, 6.5, and on from there. You can go that way with a lot of relievers. But he was an innings eater. He came in. He held it down or at least in check for a lot of the time he came in. So I wasn't too unhappy with Castro we'll see what happens with Jolie Rodriguez. I mean, you got to say that. Okay, hopefully they know what they're doing, because this isn't like any of the old regimes that just knee jerk. Hopefully it was the correct move. But we'll see.
Yeah, I mean,
and we're talking about one reliever here. They have other relievers. So it's not like he's the only reliever. Oh my God, what are they going to do?
Right.
So
yeah, I don't know what who's going to be. Well, see, I'm looking on what is it, RotoChamp.
RotoChamp.
Tyler McGill listed as the Mets' 5th starter.
At the moment, he is, because DeGrom's out. So right now they have Scherzer, Bassett, Carrasco, Walker, and McGill. Yeah.
So if Scherzer doesn't go opening day, you throw McGill out there.
You throw McGill out
because you have extra days off early in the season, right? And don't they have a 40-man roster for September or something?
They have
this year.
They have a 40-man roster for September, and they also have 2 or 3 extra players in April because of spring training. So they have a bolstered roster
for
the
say,
month
through September.
You said a 40-man roster in September.
I meant in the first month of the season.
Right.
Like they do in September.
I got you. Yeah. No, it's not 40. It's not 40. They have 2 or 3 extra players.
Oh,
they
okay.
have
So
an extra pitcher, extra position
right.
players. Yeah.
Okay. So they might have an extra guy who might be able to throw 3 or 4 innings that they could use as a spot start or something. But
right.
But what do? Do you move Bassett up? If Scherzer, Scherzer's going to want to go.
Yeah, well, obviously, right now, with DeGrom on ice right now, you're number 1 Scherzer, Bassett's 2, Carrasco's 3, Walker's 4, McGill's 5.
But I mean, for opening day, right?
Right.
Showalter said, "I'm going to listen to what Max Scherzer says." Max Scherzer says he's fine, then he's going to go.
Right.
Max Scherzer's going to want to go unless his fucking leg is broken.
Right.
So.
Right. If he's not, and they have to go with the rest, Showalter doesn't want to screw up the rotation starting with the first game, so he's going to throw McGill out there. So McGill's going to be your opening day starter by default, just so he doesn't eat into the.
And then you go back to Carrasco, Walker, and then assumedly Scherzer would be healthy.
Scherzer at that point, and you're back to the top at that point, right? And then McGill would miss a start, and then come back at the 5th after Scherzer starts.
Right, because I don't know how many times well, I suppose you're going to stick to the rotation, but again, with the extra days off,
right?
Earlier, or at least in the early part of the season. But then again, you're going to have maybe some of those cancel games being made up as doubleheaders.
Well, let's look at the exactly. Well, the schedule right now.
Have they updated schedules?
Yeah, you have it right here. The first game is once they start, they only have 2 days off in April.
Oh, okay. I thought they had extra days off.
They have 4 games against the Nationals, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. They have 3 games against the Phillies in Philadelphia. Then they have next Thursday, the 14th, off. And then they have 3 games at home against the D-backs. That's their opening weekend, starting Friday. So Friday, 1 p.m. is the home opener. And Jackie Robinson Day 2 and everything else. So their home opener is on Jackie Robinson Day, which is normally they open on a Thursday and have the Friday off. They did it that way so they can play on Jackie Robinson Day.
Right.
Then they have 4 games at home against the Giants. And then they're away against the Diamondbacks for 3 games, away against St. Louis for 3 games. They have the 28th off, and then they play the Phillies 29th, 30th, and presumably I don't have Mays in front of me. I can switch it, but I'm assuming the Sunday as well. So, once they start playing on the 7th, this coming Thursday, they have 2 days off. That's it.
Okay.
So it's as if they just start. It's not like your regular opening week of the season where you have 2 days off in 5 days.
Right. So they're going to need that.
They're jumping right in. They need the extra players. So So they'll probably wind up going with a 6th. Who knows? They might even throw Robinson out there. Peterson out there. Peterson out there. So they got Bassett, Carrasco, McGill, and then of course, and Walker, and then of course Scherzer and DeGrom when he does come back. But the bullpen they have, they even have Jolie Rodriguez listed already. I can speak. Diaz obviously is the closer. Seth Lugo is, your alternate closer and long relief.
Right.
Trevor May's in there. You got Adam. They picked up Adam Ottavino.
Yep. And they got this guy, Chasen Shreve.
They picked up Chasen Shreve, although I don't see him on this.
I don't think he was expected to make the opening day roster, but
he's not on the opening day roster. I'm looking at it right here. The rest of the roster is David Peterson, Jake Reed, Sean Reed Foley, Jolie Rodriguez, Drew Smith, and Trevor Williams. Chasen Shreve is not on the.
So they didn't.
I think he's a non-roster.
It was rumored that he might because of the injury to DeGrom.
He's on the non-roster right now. Jose Rodriguez and Chasen Shreve are on the non-roster list right now.
All right,
as well as Travis Janikowski too. He's on the non-roster list. Although he did look like he was raking in the beginning of spring training. So at least they got depth on the non-roster spots. So
all right, cool.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, and I mean they're gonna. What's Lucchese's prognosis now? Is he on the 60-day?
60, I believe he's on. Yeah.
So whatever. Late 2022. Mm-hmm. And of course, how long we really think Jacob DeGrom is going to be out?
Well, they're saying they shut him down for 4 weeks, right?
Yeah. So how long is it actually going to be?
Well, if they shut him down for 4 weeks, he's not going to jump right in and start pitching. So he's going to have to ramp up. So it could be end of May. I'm thinking end of May. I'm thinking we'll see him end of May. Barring any other setbacks, we'll see him before. We'll see him not too long before when he threw his last game last year. So meaning he'll have basically missed a year of pitching, an entire year, if you look at it like that. Not starting the season right off. So I'm saying 4 weeks. 4 weeks gets him to, for when he went out, 4 weeks gets him to the third week in April. And then assuming it's only maybe a 3-week ramp up, maybe it's mid-May. Best case scenario, third week in May. I think it's going to be a little longer than that.
Let's see.
Hopefully this is all precautionary, right? I mean, he's got a little tightness. Does that mean he can't throw? Probably not. But like I said, hopefully this is all precautionary and it has nothing to do with the injuries he had last year or his age
that's the question.
Wear and tear.
Why does he have a little tightness?
Why does he have the tightness? Right.
That's
probably because he ramped up too much and he wasn't throwing from mid-February as opposed to mid-March when he started throwing. But hopefully it had something to do with the spring training. The last 3 years have been ridiculous with, as far as training goes, just in training in general. Obviously didn't have any training except for a little bit at their own home stadiums before the 60-game season, in 2020. And now the shortened spring training this year. It's ridiculous with, after what happened 2 years ago, for them to have the lockout continue into spring training and pitchers and catchers and everything else this year is absolutely asinine.
Yeah.
I just think it's they stupid, completely stupid. But I'll stop right there. Your thoughts?
Well, I agree. I mean, this is it's hard to believe it won't have an effect on these guys. And every team has their injuries, and Mets had a lot of injuries last year. Although miraculously they were hanging around in first place in the division until. Weren't they in first place for 100 games or something last year?
They were in first place for last year. It was probably one of the few years they were in first place that long.
Yeah. But I don't know, man. Part of me goes, I don't know if this. I'm still having trouble letting go of the old Mets and the way they did things, like with the medical staff in particular.
Right.
To me, I wouldn't be surprised, knock wood, if we don't see Jacob DeGrom until around the All-Star game.
Really?
Yeah.
I hope that's not the case.
Because that was kind of the typical Mets, right? Oh, it's just a little tightness and it's 4 weeks. But that was never they never told you what was going on.
Right.
Right. And then it was, oh, well, it's actually a little bit of a strain and it's 8 weeks. And I'm hoping the new Mets regime does not do that. But part of me is like, he's going to be out at least 12 weeks. I hope
I'm going longer than what the projected. Everybody's saying, okay, if it's only 4 weeks, maybe he ramps up for 2, throws for a week, and then he's back in.
At least
So
2
that's
weeks to
it's
ramp up.
mid-May.
Right.
It's mid-May. And that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking it's going to be a couple weeks longer than that. I'm thinking it's going to be right around Memorial Day. Last week in May, first week in June. But you're throwing another month, another 5 weeks onto that.
I don't know if it's going to be another 5 weeks, but I think it's going to be. I think he might be back sometime in July.
Well,
he might be back, a week or two before the All-Star game.
Gotcha.
Or maybe the early part of July. I don't know.
Right.
But I'm a pessimist.
This is true. Well, we'll see what happens with that. Just looking down their depth chart, obviously we talked about the rotation, and in the rotation they got DeGrom, obviously, Scherzer, Bassett, Carrasco, Walker, McGill, and Peterson. Bullpen they got Diaz, Lugo, Ottavino, May, Williams, Drew Smith, Chase and Shreve when he does come up, Sean Reed Foley, Alex Claudio, Jake Reed, and Eric Orzi. That's their depth chart in the bullpen. Obviously, some of them are not up. Some of them are, on non-roster spots or extended roster.
I'm less worried about their pitching than I am about their offense.
Well, here's the offense, right? Catcher, the depth chart. This is the depth chart for each position. So catcher, obviously, McCann with Nito behind him. First base, Alonso with Dom Smith behind him. Second base, Jeff McNeil with Robinson Cano behind him. Third base, Eduardo Escobar with J.D. Davis behind him, and Luis Guillorme can play third as well.
Yep.
Shortstop, Francisco Lindor with Luis Guillorme behind him. Left field, Mark Canha is basically your starter with Starling Marte and Dom Smith behind him. Brandon Nimmo's your center fielder with Starling Marte behind him, and Starling Marte's your right fielder with Mark Canha behind him. So basically your depth chart is 5 guys for 3 positions, and they're all pretty much. Brandon Nimmo's only center field, Dom Smith's only left field, and then Starling Marte and Mark Canha.
So who's your fourth outfielder?
Your fourth outfielder is Dom Smith. I mean, you got Mark Canha in left. Starting outfield is Mark Canha in left, Brandon Nimmo in center, and Marte over in right field. All right, so you have
now Jankowski can play the outfield.
Jankowski's an outfielder, and I thought he was doing really well when I was watching him a couple weeks ago when they first started. And Dom Smith's your fourth outfielder. Yeah, well, technically,
because Jankowski's not technically on the roster.
Jankowski's not on the roster, so Dom Smith's your fourth outfielder.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. So yeah.
All right.
So there you go. To round it out, DH, you got Robinson Cano is your DH.
Right.
And J.D. Davis and Dom Smith are his backups. They don't have Alonso listed as depth at DH, so he's first base. Period.
Yeah, right I would imagine when you're going to rest him, you just want to rest him.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, let's run through some numbers here.
Okay, go for it.
So here's the starting lineup: Nimmo, Marte, Lindor, Alonso, Cano, Escobar, McNeil, Caja, McCann.
Mm-hmm.
That's the order. This is off of whatever website.
Mm-hmm.
Here's your averages.
Go for it.
261, 277, 255, 259, 266, 245, 276, 241, 240.
Not exactly blowing the doors off anybody.
You got 2 guys over 270.
Yeah. and they're just barely over 270.
Yeah. I mean, Jeff McNeil, all right, he's a better hitter than 276, right?
Mm-hmm.
Starling Marte, okay, 277 last year and 528 at bats, but that's fine. He's going to get on. He's going to steal bases. There's just not. I mean, you got some power here, obviously. Mm-hmm. Pretty good power numbers for a lot of these guys.
What was Lindor's?
Lindor was 255, so that's going to be higher.
That's going to be higher.
27 home runs, 82 RBIs. Alonso was 259, which I guess that's about where you expect, maybe a little bit higher, but 41 home runs. Escobar was 245 with 24 and 80. Caja had 19 home runs, again 241. McCann's 240, but that's fine for your catcher.
Right.
350 at bats.
Well, you expect him. You would hope he have a little bit more because that was the
a
whole
little bit
idea
better
with
than
him.
220. Right. He's a better hitter. Like almost everybody on this list.
He should be a 270, 280 hitter.
Yeah,
Jim McCann
didn't hit as well as they normally would or are capable of.
Right.
So, but let me just throw some numbers at you here, okay?
And there's no number in there for Robinson Cano, though, is there? He didn't play last year, so. Did they take his 2020 numbers?
I think so, yeah, because they got 346 at bats. So 266, 12 home runs, 45 RBIs.
How many at bats? 373.
346.
346. And how many at bats is the average everybody else had?
Nimmo's 444. You got 528, 572, 564, 535. McNeil 478. Caja just under 500. McCann about 360.
Yeah,
so most of the other guys a better representation of a more full.
They actually must have taken. There's no way he had 346 at bats in 60 games in 2020. They must have taken his 2019 numbers.
Let's see. Yeah, let's see. Let me see if they have a. No, they don't say where they came. Yeah, it could be. Maybe it's an amalgamation of his last couple of seasons.
You know, it could have been a projection of where he would have been based on what he did play in 60 games. So
yeah,
maybe. I mean, that could be it too.
Maybe.
So,
but anyway, not impressive. But anyway, so I went through the rankings of the Mets offense and the pitching staff from last year.
Sure.
So runs. We'll do the offense first.
Sure.
Runs, they were 27th. Hits, they were 29th.
Okay.
I can give you the numbers if you want to know, but
no, that's fine.
They're irrelevant unless they're compared to the doubles. They were 26th, and some of these are tied with 2 or 3 other teams. But
sure.
Triples, they were 22nd. Home runs, they were 25th. RBIs, they were 27. Walks, they were 21st. Ks, they were 17, but that's actually good.
That's good.
Because that one kind of works. These were all listed from the largest number to the smallest. So they're, in the middle.
They're in the middle. Strikeouts.
Yeah. Stolen bases, they were 24th with 54. Caught stealing, they were 8th with 26.
Yeah, that's a bad number.
So that's about a third of the time they were getting stuck. They were getting caught.
Yeah, if they were 8th and didn't get caught stealing, that would be a good number.
Yeah, 54 and 26 is 80.
Right.
So they got caught 26 out of 80 attempts. Not that good.
Not that good.
They were 20th in average. On base percentage, 17. Not bad, middle of the pack. 25th in slugging and 23rd in ops.
Yeah. Not a good offensive year.
Yeah. Anemic. We know. They couldn't how many runs did they score for Jacob deGrom?
I mean, that's an ongoing thing. I mean, it's an anemic. The offense has been anemic for many, many years.
I didn't even
Jacob deGrom won those 2 Cy Youngs in spite of the run production when he was pitching.
Let's see.
The one year he won with 10 wins. He had 10 wins and he won a Cy Young. So.
And how many games did they play last year?
How many games did the Mets play last year?
Yeah.
162.
162. So let's do the math on the runs scored. That's 3.9.
3.9 runs per game.
Yeah, terrible.
Yeah, that's horrible. That's horrible here.
Terrible.
Let's hope Showalter can actually get them to produce where they really should be.
Now
that's what I'm hoping. Now pitching.
Let's look at the pitching because that's where the Mets make their money, so to speak. So they had 77 wins. That was 18th. So middle of the pack. 85 losses. That was tied for 11th. 9th in ERA at 3.90. Middle of the pack with 8 shutouts. Probably 6 of those were DeGroms. 13th in saves with 41. 11th in save opportunities with 69. So they had 28 save opportunities that were blown. That's not good.
No. That was that, and most of them came after the All-Star break.
Yeah,
most of them came after. Yeah, that was, and that's what their downfall was. That's when they left first place and tanked.
Their bullpen couldn't hold a 1-run lead or a 4-run lead or a 3-run. So
how about a 6-run lead?
Right. Yeah.
Me in PNC Park in Pittsburgh watching them play the Pirates With a 6-run lead in the bottom of the 8th, and they lost.
Yeah, they were nearly in the top 10 in save opportunities, but again,
6-run lead in the bottom of the 8th, and they lost the game.
Yeah,
and not in extra innings. They lost the game.
Right. Yep.
I'm sorry. It was an extra innings. It was to 10th.
Yeah,
inning.
because
it was 10th inning. Yeah, they tied it.
Yeah, what's his name? Didn't same guy hit the game tying home run and the game winning home run? Was that what happened? Yeah, I forget who was that.
I don't even want to remember.
Well.
But
all right, so here's some.
He was on the Pirates. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, he was a guy on the Pirates.
It was a guy on the Pirates.
Here's some good news though.
Go ahead.
Hits, they were 4th. Mm-hmm. Now again, I had to reverse these because they list from the most to the last.
Right.
So on the list they were 27th, but if you count up starting with 30, they were 4th.
Mm-hmm.
Runs 668. That's good for 9th.
There you go.
Which, if you look at their runs scored, which was 636, so pretty close.
Mm-hmm.
But again, doesn't mean a lot. Earned runs were 581. That was good for 7th. Home runs was 190. That was good for 13th. Strikeouts was good for 12th with 1,453.
Mm-hmm.
5th place for walks with 475. 7th for whip at 1.23, which is a great number. And the average against them was good for 10th at 236. So really pretty good pitching and no run production.
Right.
So why is this team going to be better?
Because they have a better
lineup, right?
Because they have a better lineup. Because they have they've improved their lineup. They've improved their pitching. They've greatly improved their lineup. They've improved their pitching pretty decently, and they've improved their managing 100-fold. So
okay, I'm glad you said that because I think that has as much to do with it as anything
else. Absolutely.
For the Mets this year, is they have somebody who actually knows how to manage baseball.
Exactly. And speaking of pitching, we said this the other day on the regular show. They have ranked. Hold on. I want to see what they have here. Hold on.
Is this the pitcher?
Yeah, I want to read this to you because it has changed.
Oh, because of the Mets and Yankees trade.
No. This is the rotation.
Oh, right. This is the starting staff.
Mm-hmm. Whatchamacallit. The other day we read MLB. This is not okay. Hold on one second. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
This is you gotta love Major League Baseball released their best rotations in baseball, right?
Right.
And then obviously everybody else puts them out too. Major League Baseball has the Mets the number 1 rotation in baseball.
Okay.
Sportsnaut.com okay, has the Mets the 10th best rotation in baseball.
Sportsnaut.
Okay. Sportsnaut. But how
is that spelled?
NAUT. Sportsnaut.com. Sportsnaut has.
Is that supposed to be like sports nut with a New England accent?
Sportsnaut.
Sportsnaut. Or is that a New York accent? He's a sportsnaut.
He's a sportsnaut.
No, that's more of a New England, right?
I guess so.
That's a Boston. Sportsnaut.
But whatever they got that listed. I just want to go back to MLB.
10th. Yeah, that makes sense. Sure. Mm-hmm. Well, maybe that was just updated without DeGrom.
No, it wasn't. It doesn't say that. It doesn't list that. Hold on. Here we go.
Which is an interesting question. Should they be number 1 without the best pitcher in baseball on their staff?
Well, obviously they haven't re-ranked them since there's injuries, but they're not looking at it as week 1. They're looking at it as 2022, right? So at some point, DeGrom's going to be pitching, knock on wood, this year, right? So be that as it may, so the Mets have the number 1 rotation in baseball, followed by the Brewers and then the Blue Jays.
Oh, right.
And around at the top 5, the White Sox and the Astros. Whatchamacallit? The ranking the bullpens. The Braves have the number 1 bullpen, followed by the White Sox, then the Brewers, then the Yankees, then the Giants. The Mets fall in at the Mets don't even make the top 10.
So Joely Rodriguez didn't propel them into the top 10.
Joely Rodriguez did not propel them into the top 10. Neither did Adam Ottavino.
Right.
Whatchamacallit? So it says, with Adam Ottavino providing another setup option in front of Edwin Diaz, the Mets could justifiably be on the list, though they do have questions on the left-hand side. So this was written before Joely Rodriguez. So maybe if they re-rank them now, they might sneak into the top 10.
Right. Although I'd still say they have questions on the left-hand side because they just added one guy.
Well, they have a left-handed option. So it's not a question. It's just but anyway, I don't know. So look, bottom line is
maybe it's a different question.
Right. Exactly.
Previously, the question was why don't they have any fucking left-handers? Now the question is the one left-hander they got is that enough? Best? Is that all they're going to do?
Right.
So they still have questions. It's maybe different questions, though.
Exactly. Well, we'll see. I mean, look, we can only sit here as Mets fans and hope that this season is different than at least recent ones. Not of all time, per se. I mean, it could be. You know, we have somebody in place that's an actual manager. The last time we had that was Terry Collins. And I'm sorry, with all due respect to Terry Collins, I got to rank Buck Showalter a little above Terry Collins.
A little bit.
All right. We basically have the 2 best pitchers in baseball on our staff. Granted, they both need to stay healthy. Well, or actually, at this point, I should say they both need to get healthy and then stay healthy. But we have the 2, or at least 2 of the 3. We have the best pitcher in baseball, and then the other one is the second or third best pitcher in baseball. Maybe 4th at this point because he's 37, but he's in the top 5. So, ranking us. So if everybody is healthy, we do have one of, if not the best staff in baseball. The bullpen has a couple of questions, but if they can come around with the staff that's in front of them, working with them and so forth and so on.
You've got 2 or 3 solid guys in the bullpen, and
and role players with the rest of them.
Right, but if your offense does anything, then every game is not a one-run game, and you don't have to have a perfect bullpen all the time.
Exactly. Now, that's where I was going with this because, the Mets have done what they've done in the past, even with the bullpen that they've had and the starting rotation that they've had. But they've always – the Mets were in – I think they were leading the league most of last year. In fact, I think they did still lead the league all last year in one-run games.
Yeah.
All right? They just weren't producing the offense. They have the ability. I'm not going to say they're going to. They have the ability with the bats that they have in this lineup, with the bats that they brought in Marte, in Escobar, in Kana, and getting Cano back. He doesn't have to play second base. I know he wants to play second base, but he's 40, 39, 40, right?
Yeah, so you let him play every now and then.
But yeah, so
if McNeil stays healthy,
right,
he's good for 150 games.
Right, but he can DH. His bat in 2020, before he was suspended last year, his bat in 2020 was pretty damn good.
Was he? Didn't he get suspended for steroids or something? Or was that the year?
That was it was the PEDs was after that, but we don't know what they were. I don't think he was shooting Anadrol, but it was performance enhancing by any means. But you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But his leash is very short when it comes to that.
Not to throw cold water on it, but
right.
He was
the man knows how to hit. So if he's not, my point is, if he's not playing the field every day and he's just sitting on the bench and swinging a bat, hopefully those skills can get him to,
he won't need the steroids, is what you're saying.
Right. He can produce
he won't
to
need
some
to
extent
because he won't be out playing.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, to be honest with you, obviously playing second base is going to take more of a toll on the guy's body than swinging a bat 5-6 times
Right.
a
Exactly. Especially at 40.
Right. So, hopefully that, that's there. But my bottom line is that they have the options. They have a better offensive
Yeah,
staff.
they've got a little
right
bit
now.
more speed.
And Buck Showalter's the key here. He knows how to manage. He knows when somebody should be bunting. He knows when somebody should be swinging away. He knows when somebody should be stealing. He knows he doesn't have a guy sitting there chewing on sunflower seeds, hoping that everything goes right. No offense to our former manager. That's now the Yankees' third base coach. But
I would say that's plenty of offense, which is due.
Yeah.
Sorry, Mr. Rojas, you were fucking horrible.
Yeah, it was pretty bad, Louis. Sorry.
It was pretty bad.
But
now, here's the thing about Showalter that I'm interested to see.
Mm-hmm.
We know analytics and the pitchers and the swapping, and I think we've all lamented this, if not decried it outright on the podcast, about, can we stop bringing these guys in one inning at a time? Right? Do we have to switch? Do we always have to play the numbers?
Right.
Buck Showalter, smart guy. I'm sure he knows what the numbers are. He understands, obviously, he understands the lefty-righty matchup and that sort of thing. Right. Is he going to be a guy who is, expected by the men upstairs to, take that book of stats and that's your Bible and that's how you do things? Mm-hmm. I don't think he's going to do that.
I don't think so either.
He doesn't seem like the guy who's going to do that.
I think he's going to utilize some of those stats and some of those analytics to make the right decision when it comes to his baseball acumen.
To use those numbers for what they're supposed to do, which is to give you information, not to decide things.
Right. Exactly.
But I'm very interested to see how he's going to use that with respect to the bullpen. Mm-hmm. If you've got, and look, they have one lefty right now. If you've got a righty who's pitching well, and the next inning you've got a couple of lefties coming up first, but the guy's been lights out for the inning and a third that he's already pitched, and he's fresh or whatever. Does Buck leave him in? Because he's dealing, or does he go, nope, got two lefties,
nope,
got to go with our one lefty?
The answer is yes. The answer is yes.
He's going to go with his gut.
Buck Showalter is going to leave him in. Is what's going to happen. If the guy's been dealing, Buck Showalter is going to leave him in. Louis Rojas would not.
Or if he did, he would leave him in until he absolutely failed miserably.
Right.
Which is the other thing about Showalter.
He would leave him in too long. Yeah, exactly. Right. It wasn't have a short leash or too long of a leash. Showalter is right. I'm assuming that Showalter will actually do the right thing and put him back out there because he is dealing. But as soon as he realizes he's not dealing anymore, right? Yeah.
A little bit old school, but that's what I'm hoping for anyway.
Right.
And I hope that the guys upstairs will just go, yep, this is why we hired you. Mm-hmm. And look, you win more than you lose. That should be all that he really has to do. Right. Certainly, hopefully more than 82 wins, but I think they're projected for 90. But the Braves are too. A lot of these sites I saw projections, they got the Braves 1-2 or 2-1.
Right.
But so that'll have to do with injuries and stuff, of course. And but the Mets, I think they did a good job of adding. Let's see, projected WAR. This one site has them at plus 4.2. They take what they added, and those guys WAR and add it up, and then take what they lost and sort of subtract that and what that difference is.
Right.
So they were a plus 4.2 in the moves they made, which is pretty good. Mm-hmm. Pretty good.
It's pretty good, and I kind of got to. I got to tell you, I am kind of glad that they didn't make that trade with the Padres. I still want to see Dom Smith hang around. I think he could be a great role player on this team. And his bat when it is on is great. And I also really didn't want to see Eric Hosmer on this team because the one World Series win that Eric Hosmer has, came at the hands of, unfortunately, the Mets. So, but hey, what are you gonna do? Not that that really friggin' matters.
No, well, look, if he comes in, if the trade went through and he came and he was lights out, then we'd love him. We'd forgive him.
This is true.
Exactly. Because I mean, well, I don't know how many years he was.
What's that?
How many years he played for the Royals?
7.
So probably most of them were not so good.
Mm-hmm.
No, the Royals were not particularly a good team.
Well, the Royals made 2 World Series in a row. They lost to the Giants in 2014 and won. And
I
beat the
guess
Mets
that
in
makes up for
2015.
like you can have 5 really shitty years, but then
And go to the
you
World
go to
Series
the World
twice.
Series twice and win one. That kind of makes up for it. I guess
Kind of makes up for it, yeah.
So it wouldn't exactly be like he toiled in hell
Right.
for 8-10 years and then won one and then.
Well, he was on. I mean, he was on the Royals for a couple of years after they won the World Series. So he was, so he had 3, building years, and then went to 2 World Series, won one of them, had another 2 years, and then went to the Padres for
that's
the last 4.
That's a pretty that's pretty good time out there in nowhere land.
There you go. But hey,
well,
deal's not happening, so it doesn't matter. So
no. According to VegasInsider.com, as this was written on the 19th of March, obviously not April. So according to them, the Atlanta Braves are plus 120. This is for the division. Mets are plus 140. Nationals 600, Phillies 875, and the Marlins 2,500.
There you go. So virtually the Mets and the Braves are pretty much, it's anybody's division between the two of them.
Although that might be, I'm sure.
Where are the Phillies? 600, you said?
Yeah. Although I'm sure that's different now because, again, DeGrom is going to be out for some time,
right?
And that has to affect the bottom line. But
well, I mean,
but they had them close as far as the division, the pennant odds, and the World Series. They had them dead even.
Right.
I don't know.
So.
I mean, listen, the predictions. Did you see the win-loss totals came out for the NFL the other day?
I did not see that. No.
They're talking about it on the radio, like, well, they haven't even had the draft yet. They know. The only team that I think they didn't post numbers for was Cleveland. Because who knows?
They're the only ones that question mark. Everybody else, they got it down.
Everybody else, they gave out numbers.
There you go.
And they're like, we don't even know who's going to be on the team.
Yeah. We'll talk about this on this week on the regular podcast. But what? Just curious, what's the Giants and the Jets over under?
I think the Jets were 6 and the Giants were maybe 7.
So basically, more or less the same numbers that they were given the last several years. Nothing really changed.
I think so. I might be padding the Jets. It might have been a 5. I don't remember. It wasn't good. But I think that's something. Actually, I do want to talk about that on the regular podcast, and then I want to get those numbers, and then I want to look at them after the draft and see how different they are.
See how different they are. Yeah,
that makes sense. We should. I was thinking. I wrote it down. I'm making my little notes. We'll do the Jets, Giants, the Broncos, and then the Bears.
We'll do the Bears
for our good friend in Chicago. I think we need to start including the Bears as one of our sort of home teams.
Sure, why not?
Because we know we have a guy who
loves
our show.
We have listeners in Chicago,
and it's a Chicago Bears fan, and so we'll do that.
We'll do that. So.
But I'll have to look those up. Yeah, I'll look them up before Wednesday. Sure, probably look them up on the fly while you and Harry talk. While you and Harry talk about the Yankees.
There you go. We'll get Harry's take on the Yankees because we're not gonna revisit everything that we've talked about with the Mets on the show this week. We'll talk about a little bit extra about the Yankees, and then we'll talk baseball in general because this is our MLB kickoff show this week, and it will be on Thursday. It will be on Tuesday as well this week.
Oh, it is Tuesday. Okay.
Yeah, unless we want to do it on Friday, we have to make sure we have to figure that out with Harry first. But
okay.
I'm fine either day. But one of those 2 days won't be Wednesday either way. But either way, let's you and I give our season totals. What we think our what the Mets will do record wise, and will they make the playoffs, and if so, how deep? Let's do that right now for you and I, and then we'll revisit it on this week with Harry, get his take on it, and then we'll do the Yankees in that too. So and the Rockies for him for that matter. So
let's do. We don't know if our Bears fan is a North Sider or a South Sider.
We'll have to find out. We'll find out. We'll find out then, and we'll talk about. We'll be prepared to talk about either the Cubs or the White Sox.
Yeah. So. It's gonna be like years and years ago. I worked for Sports Phone, believe it or not. This was 1996, 97. I was
gonna say it had to be the mid 90s. So yeah,
97, 98, I think, because I got out of broadcasting school at the end of 96, and they were still around, and So we had like the regular sports phone, scoreboard updates and stuff. And then
Right.
we used to do like Chicago sports news. For some reason, they had like their separate line or whatever it was. That was part of the job. So we'll do it kind of that way.
Yeah.
We'll operate like sports phone. We'll do our locals. And of course, locals for Harry is Colorado.
Mm-hmm.
And then we'll do Chicago. Like they had their own number.
Chicago had their own numbers. The sports phone was all, and Chicago had their own numbers.
Sports phone was, here's what's happening in every game in the NBA. And then the Chicago was local stuff, separate number that you dial into and do a report all about Chicago sports.
There you go. So we'll do it. We'll operate the same way.
So we'll do that. Yeah.
There you go. So.
Although you won't have to dial it.
Yeah, we'll just be on the show.
That'll be like a local. Add that to our list of locals.
We'll throw up a graphic. Chicago
New York, Colorado, and Chicago. Oh yeah, you have to come up with a Bears graphic.
There you go.
Just find this like the saddest looking bear you can.
One crying or whatever. But in any event,
sorry. So what's our Chicago fan's name?
We wrote it down. Jimmy, get on that.
Okay, Jimmy,
get on it. Jimmy's getting on it. Yeah. So, what's your take? What do you think the Mets' record's going to be this year?
I don't know, man. I don't think the Phillies, Marlins, or Nationals are going to be particularly good, but I seem to remember the Marlins being a bit of a bugaboo for the Mets last year. Weren't they the team Mets couldn't seem to? There were a lot of teams the Mets couldn't seem to beat.
There was a lot of teams,
runs, but maybe it just hurt more against the Marlins. So I feel like there were more games against them. So I don't really think they're going to really be that much of a threat. The Phillies probably have the best shot at.
Spoilers.
Yeah.
Just playing spoiler, yeah.
I'm worried about the Braves. They've still got a good team. They're going to get Acuna back at some point. I don't think he's going to be ready for opening.
He's not ready for opening day, but he's coming back at some point.
Coming back soon, and they got rid of Soler.
Mm-hmm.
Was one of the guys they brought in.
Right. Jock Peterson's gone. He was there too.
Jock Peterson's gone. He was another guy, right? Guys they brought in, three guys to replace.
But whatchamacallit, Eddie Rosario is still. He stayed. He's
still there.
Yeah.
So they're still good, and I think the Mets and Braves, assuming injuries are not a huge factor, which is whatever. I think they're going to be kind of neck and neck.
All right.
So I'm going to put the Mets. I mean, it's the Mets. I can't. How can
don't look. Here's the thing. You can't. I know you can't. I know it's hard not to, but you can't look at it as
I know
the Mets because they're not anymore.
They
are, but they're not.
Happen.
We're just everybody's waiting for the other shoe to drop. But I'm hoping the shoe has. I'm hoping all the shoes that could have dropped over all the years, they're done. They've all dropped. So we're where we are. So it's
I'm gonna say 88 wins.
88. Wow, you're only going 88.
Yep.
88 and 74. That's the record.
I think so.
All right. Are they winning the division?
No.
They're getting a wild card?
Yes.
All right. How deep in the playoffs are they?
Well, I don't know. Maybe. We got to see what happens out in the West.
All right. Well, there's 3 wild cards, so this is right. There's a 12 games, so so there's 3 wild cards.
Padres can be a little bit better than
right.
You could have 2 of them coming out of the
out
of the West, but
yeah.
I'll say they get a wild card.
Okay. And how deep are they? Are they losing the wild card round? They get into the NLDS? They get into the NLCS?
I think they'll see the Mets this year. I think they're almost better off as not a favorite role.
Fair enough.
As a good, but not expected to be the best role.
Okay.
So I think they could get through a couple rounds.
Okay. So they're going to go to the NLCS, you're saying.
So there'll be a wild card, right? What's the format this year?
Wild card round, NLDS, NLCS, World Series.
So is it
So his first round is wild card round, second round is the divisional series.
How many games in each round?
Wild card is just they're not doing. Are they doing 3 games? Or are they doing just? It's not a play-in game, right? For the wild card, it's just
no, because now they had the play-in game was to choose the 3rd wild card, right?
Right.
Last year, but now
it's
now they just have 3 wild cards.
Yeah. So it could be 5 games. It could be. I remember hearing something about 3 games, but it could be a 5-game series. I don't know.
All right, so it's not. Well, it's not one. So that's
right.
So there's that, and then there's the division series.
Then division series, then the championship series, and then the
They could go to the championship series.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll say that.
They're going to go to the NLCS, and
they'll be a little bit under the radar during the regular season.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Braves will win the division.
Okay.
They'll get the wild card,
and
then they'll have a couple of good series.
All right, and they're going to lose in the NLCS. You're saying they're not going to the world. They're not going to the World Series.
I don't think so, because there'll be one or two pieces that they really could have used that'll be missing at that point.
Gotcha. All right. So 88-74 is their record, according to you. They will not win the division. They will get a wild card. They will win a couple of good series. They will go to the NLCS and lose.
88 and what was it?
74.
74. Yep. Wild card, lose in the NLCS.
Gotcha. All right. Mine, I'll tell you right now, is they're gonna. I'm shooting it right here. I'm all in. I'm all in.
You're gonna be the optimist.
I'm gonna be the eternal optimist as I normally am, because the season hasn't started yet. So that's why I can afford to be the optimist right now.
This is the last chance you have to be an optimist.
Talk to me next Sunday. I may have a different outlook.
So 3 days in, you may want to
adjust this.
Do we have a time period
we can
change our thoughts?
We'll revisit. We'll do a revisit. We'll do an end of the month wrap up, end of the first month wrap up, and we'll revisit what we said here, and we'll decide.
Here's what I think. We have the show 2 days from now.
Yep.
The season starts Thursday.
Thursday, yeah.
Thursday.
Yep.
So Thursday, Friday.
There's games straight through. There'll be a game every day till we do the show the following week on Wednesday.
So Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday,
Tuesday.
6 games in by the time we get
Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Hold on. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And Wednesday is a 105 game. So they will have played 7 games by the time we do the show that week.
I say by next Wednesday, including next Wednesday, we can change our answer here.
So we can adjust because we'll get Harry's too before the season starts, obviously.
Right.
And then by the show on April 13th, Wednesday night, April 13th, we can adjust.
We can adjust.
We can adjust what we said. All right,
and
fair enough.
We can do that for the Yankees too.
And we'll do that for the Yankees. Yeah, fair enough. And
we can do it for the
Rockies, and for that matter,
and we can do it for the Cubs and
White Sox. Right? Yeah. So, all right. So
I think that's fair. 7 games is a little sample, and then we can. But after that, we're locked.
Locked in. We'll see where we're at. All right. So my optimism here, 4 days before the season starts. Here we go. 95-67.
Wow.
95-67. We won 7 games. 7 games
crack,
over you.
Buddy.
95-67. I'm telling you, 95-67.
Watch, they're going to go 7-0 that week, and you're going to be like, "I told you."
I knew it.
And then the end of April, they're going to be like,
14. They're going to be 7-14. Win 7 in a row and then not win another game the rest of the month. Like, can I change it again? No. There we go. So 95-67. They're winning the division. And then I'm the same as you at that point. They're getting to the NLCS, but they're losing. They're not going to World Series. They're losing the NLCS. So,
yeah, they're going to lose to somebody out west, right?
So, yeah, and they'll lose to, yeah. I Giants, Dodgers,
Yeah. I got to look at the Padres and see. I don't know what they did in the offseason or what moves they made, but
they've made a few.
They were a disappointment to me last year.
Yeah, they were. Well, we all picked them, right? We all picked them as our
they fell down in the second half of the season.
All 3 of us picked the Padres to win the NL West.
Yeah, they look so good.
Yeah, but so we're both. I mean, we're both. The end of both of ours are the same.
So it ends in the championship series.
You're going 88 wins. I'm going 95 wins. You're going there getting a wild card, not winning the division. I'm going there winning the division. And then we're both the same, that they're reaching the NLCS but losing in the NLCS. So,
well, honestly, let's just assume for the sake of this discussion, we keep things the same on the 13th. Is that what day it'll be?
It'll be the 13th. Yeah.
On the 13th. Yeah. I hope you're right.
Oh,
I would love to see him.
I hope I'm right too.
Games and win the division.
Exactly.
So, I will gladly be wrong about that.
Exactly. All right. Well, that being the case, I think we'll. Any other notes? Any other things you want to say before we wrap up the the show?
No, I don't think so. That's pretty much everything I had.
Yeah.
Yep, that's pretty much everything I had.
All right. Well,
There we go. 90 minutes. It was perfect.
That was perfect. Yeah. Let's hope DeGrom comes back sooner than later. Let's hope Scherzer was just a playing playing cautious with his hammy, and he's
smart. Be
smart and do it right.
Don't pitch opening day.
Exactly. And then and let's hope the offense can rake and the bullpen can work its way up and the starting pitching staff is not, deemed a fraud, what everybody was picking it to be. And, look, I'm not looking to be lights out. I don't think they're going to be, but I think they're going to be one of the better teams in the league this year. I don't see how they, unless they just completely, pardon my French, shit the bed. I don't see how they can't be one of the better teams in the league this year. But we'll see, right? Are they going to win 95 games? Are they going to win more? Is it going to be 88? Are they going to be a disappointment and win 82 and not even make the playoffs? Obviously, any of that can happen, but let's keep our fingers crossed that this is the year the Mets no longer are the Mets.
Yeah, here's kind of the difference, and I think I talk about this with the Jets a lot, and to a lesser extent with the Giants. Like the Mets very often go into a season, and there's a lot of ifs. Right?
Mm-hmm.
If this happens, if these two pitchers perform, above what they've done the whole rest of their career, if this guy bounces back, if this guy who hasn't played more than 80 games the last 3 seasons plays 140 games or whatever. Not so many ifs with the Mets.
Right.
Like all the tools are there going in, right?
They have it. They're set.
Right.
They're set. There's no ifs set there. Yeah.
And the ifs that we have are like, okay, like if you had to bet on them, you'd probably like if Lindor has a better season, that will be a big help to the Mets. Well, that's likely to happen, right?
Right.
Because look at his career, and you look at last year; it's the anomaly,
right?
Right? It's not. Well, he had a great year his rookie season, and then he was kind of like last year, and we're hoping that he, returns to that. No. This guy's a fucking all-star who had a shit year last year. Well, look, he had good power numbers, but not great. He just didn't hit for average. Wasn't entirely himself. So, like that, if he returns close to his usual form, that's a good if to bet on.
Sure.
As opposed to if this kid who's been in the league a couple years and had a stellar year, actually turns into a superstar. Well,
exactly.
Or a guy who's been around for half a decade and finally had a good year, or you think, well, now he's, if he has that same kind of year, those are not good ifs to bet on.
Right.
But I think the Mets have pretty good ifs because they're things that are more likely to happen instead of where you kind of go through that list as I do with the Jets. Well, that's not going to happen. Well, that's not going to happen. Well, that might happen. This is very unlikely to happen. And it all adds up to another mediocre season.
Right.
Good ifs with the Mets, things that are more likely to happen, which is, guys just performing a little better. All right, you hit 260. Okay, so hit 270 this year.
Yeah.
10 points. What is that? What's the
it's another hit a week.
One flare a week, right?
Yeah.
From Bull Durham or something like that. One seeing eye single or whatever it is.
Exactly.
And that's that's whatever, 25 points in the majors or something or whatever.
Exactly.
So good ifs for the Mets. I feel positive about that. Not crazy stuff. Not 3 or 4 unlikely things that have to happen for them to manifest into a good season.
Completely agree.
They got the tools.
Tools are there. They're ready to go. I think they have the right guy at the helm to actually utilize the tools in the proper way.
Right. Yeah. That doesn't have to be an if. If the rookie manager figures out how to manage.
That's not an if. Those ifs are no. Goodbye. Those are not. Yeah, exactly. So, but
of course, Buck could be old and crazy and losing his mind.
I don't, but that could be a good. That could be a good thing, though. That could be a good thing.
Yeah, maybe that might be just what they need, but
it might be just what
I
they
don't
need,
think that's the case. But
I don't either. So, all right. Well, we agree, and I think it's going to be a fun. I think it's going to be a fun year. Knock on wood. I think it's going to be a fun year, and if they can somewhere get between our picks, and make a decent showing in the playoffs, I'll be happy.
Yep.
It'll be a good year. So There you go. All right. Well, on that note, we'll wrap the show up for today. We want to thank everybody for watching. And for those of you just listening to the audio podcast, thanks for listening. Don't forget to visit our website, www.getonwithitpodcast.com. My mouth got away from me there for a minute.
Have you been drinking?
Seltzer, actually.
Well, that's the problem.
That's the problem. I haven't been. Right, exactly. Don't forget to visit our website, www.getonwithitpodcast.com. That's getonwithitpodcast.com. And please remember, like us and follow us on all of our social media, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Just search for the Get On With It podcast. And, of course, all of the shows are available on YouTube as well on the Logger Room channel. Remember, we go live with a video podcast on both Facebook and YouTube every Wednesday night around 7:30 Eastern Time, except for these special podcasts. They pop up whenever we want them to. And, of course, this week won't be on Wednesday, so that's kind of, shot to shit right there, that part of the speech. So disregard what I said, right?
Don't join us on Wednesday.
Don't join us on Wednesday this week. It's going to be Tuesday or Friday, most likely Tuesday.
You only have to wait 48,
49,
51 hours.
51 hours, there you go.
Roughly 51 hours until our next podcast. There you go. And for those of you who just wanted to listen to the audio podcast, you could do so on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, TuneIn, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music Podcast, and iHeartRadio as well. And if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to one or more of those feeds, and you'll never miss a show. Again, thanks for following along with us. Have a great rest of your week. Have a great week coming up. And continue to have a wonderful rest of this weekend, what's left of it, another 8 hours or so, depending on where you are in the country. And we'll talk to you in, like Pete said, about 51 hours. Yeah.
Right? Have a wonderful rest of your Sunday, folks. Take care. Cheers.
Go South Carolina, ladies, and go Kansas.
Go Kansas, and let's go Mets. LFGM.
And let's go Mets.
There you go. LFGM.
I am not renewing my prescription for antidepressants yet. I still have a few.
There you go.
But I'm not renewing
that'll get you through. We can revisit that. We'll revisit that as well on the 13th.
That'll get me to on the 13th. We'll see how I feel.
We'll have to renew it at that point. Yeah. So LFGM, as Pete Alonso says, let's go Mets. All right. Take care.
Bye, everybody.
Cheers.